All right, it's been a while since I've done one of these videos. I think it's been like about 4 or 5 months, but back at it again. And today I actually wanted to talk about why I actually think that the difference between Demetrious Johnson and Alexandre Pantoja isn't actually that far as everyone says it is. A lot of people think that just because Demetrious Johnson had something like, I think, 11 or 12 title defenses, that Alexandre Pantoja is, pretty much impossible to even come close to Demetrious Johnson. And I just think that's not true. One of the reasons I say that is because I think Pantoja has actually beat better competition, like lots of better competition compared to Demetrious Johnson. And a lot of people will say, oh, especially new, like casuals or old head fans, a lot of them will say, oh, it's impossible because how do you beat 11 title defenses? Well, yeah, one of the ways we can do that is by comparing the wins. And the quality of wins that Pantoja has is a lot better than the wins Demetrious Johnson has. Excuse me for sounding a little bit raspy. I've been sick lately. But anyways, today I wanted to compare the records, and I actually do think that if Pantoja beats Royval, he's like neck and neck with Demetrious Johnson. They're equal. I just think that Pantoja needs 2 more title defenses, and I have him over Demetrious Johnson, in all honesty, because let's look at records real quick. I'm going to look at Demetrious Johnson's record, and then we're going to compare it to Alexandre Pantoja's record, all right? So let's start until their UFC debuts, because that's really when it matters. Pretty much everything else before the UFC is not really a big deal. All right, first win in the UFC, or first fight in the UFC for Demetrious Johnson, Norfumi Yamamoto, never heard of that guy. Next fight was Miguel Torres, that's a decent win. Then he lost to Dominic Cruz, which no shame in losing to the guy who used to be the bantamweight GOAT. Then he had a draw with Ian McCall. Then he beat Ian McCall in a rematch, which is when he won the belt, I'm pretty sure. And this is where his title reign kind of starts. He beat Joseph Benavidez by a split decision. Looking back on paper, that's not really a good thing. Then he beat John Dodson. That's an okay win. John Moraga, not really a big win. Benavidez again, that's an okay win. Ali Bagatandev, I don't even know this guy. This guy's like a can crusher. Chris Carrizo, I don't know this guy. This was a good win. Kyuji Horiguchi, that's a good win. John Dodson again. Henry Cejudo, that was a good win. But John Dodson twice are not really good win, and the Benavidez wins are kind of iffy. And then, let's see. You have Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott, not really a good win. Wilson Ray's not really a good win. Ray Borg, it's an okay win. Then he loses to Henry Cejudo. Okay, that was his UFC tenure. And now you have his run at one championship, which I'm not really even going to count. Although him beating Adrian Morales twice was a good win. I'll say that for sure. Now then, let's compare it to Alexandre Pantoja's record in the UFC. So his first win was Eric Shelton. I don't really know who that guy is. Kind of no name. Neil Sherry, no name. His first loss in the UFC was to a guy named Dustin Ortiz, which I never heard of before. Next win was Brandon Moreno. That win aged really good, really gracefully. His next wins was Oka Sasaki. To tell you the truth, I've never heard of that guy's name. Wilson Reyes, which is another guy that Demetrious Johnson beat, so equal wins. Then you have Matt Schnell, and he actually did lose to Davison Figueiredo before beating Matt Schnell. And then he lost to Askar Askarov, which was unfortunate. This is when his wins start getting really good. He went on a fighting win streak where he beat Manel Kape. The Kape win is aged good. Brandon Royval, the Royval win is aged good. The Alex Perez win, he beat Brandon Moreno again in a split decision, which was for the championship. Then he beat Brandon Royval, Steve Ercik, Kaya Sakura, and Kai Kara France. Those are really good wins, honestly. And beating, what is it? I think he beat Moreno 3 times. Because he did beat him in tough, too. If I remember correctly, he beat him in tough, even though they don't count it, which is weird. But if you put all those wins together, that record is pretty much equal or even better than Demetrious Johnson. It's just that it just so happens that, what's his face? Alexandre Pantoja lost a couple times while he was on the come-up, which, isn't really a big deal. Losing in MMA is like a bad thing, but it's not as bad as they do in boxing. If you lose once in boxing, suddenly you're a fraud, you're a bum, you don't know what you're doing. You should just go retire, which is one of the things I hate about boxing, but I don't want to talk that much about boxing. It's in the conversation of the video will change. But anyway, I think that Alexandre Pantoja, all he needs is one more win to potentially people start considering him better than Demetrious Johnson if you take off the nostalgia goggles off. And I really do think so. But there's some people that might say, oh, he needs 5 more wins. And I'm like, are you crazy? He does not need 5 more wins. If he got 5 more wins, his record would be insane, all right? He does not need 5 more wins, especially when you look at his pre-title fight like wins. He had some good wins. Those were not bad wins at all. I just think that if he beats if he beats Joshua Van, then that's a fight that he can be considered neck and neck with Demetrious Johnson, if not even better. But if you want to really close the case and just, close it, make it shut, and then we'll no longer have this discussion anymore, I think he needs 2 more wins. And if he does get 2 more wins, that's it. He's the 125 GOAT, flyweight GOAT, in my opinion. It doesn't get any better than that, because you have to realize like this. A lot of the lighter divisions back in the day, their competition used to be worse. Like, I love Dominic Cruz, but the reality is Dominic Cruz is nowhere near Merab now. Merab has an insane record. And another hot take, I actually think Merab, if he beats Corey Sandhagen, he beats Peter Yan again, I think he could put him like top 6 or top 7 in the fucking GOAT talks, honestly. I have him higher than Khabib already. I have Ilya Topuria higher than Khabib, honestly. Khabib sucks in terms of record-wise. Like, he's a very good fighter. He was undefeated. I'm not saying he was a bad fighter. Of course, he was a really good fighter, but I'm just saying I think Khabib's record is overrated. Just like I think Demetrious Johnson's record is overrated. Do people even have Demetrious Johnson in their top 10 anymore? Like, anyone who's a hardcore fan, can they say, oh, I got Demetrious Johnson at number 6. I got him at number 5. Like, are you crazy? Are you crazy? Like, let's say this. I don't want to put steroid cheats in my fight, and I know technically Islam Makhachev popped for a drug, but he was using it before it was made legal, so I'll give him a pass. But personally, I don't have John Jones on my list or Anderson on my list. I don't have people who pop. But hypothetically, the list would go something like, maybe not in order, or in order if you want. It would go something like this. Let's just put steroid cheats to make it easier, because I know some people still include John Jones in their GOAT list. It would be John Jones, GSP, and at number 3, I would actually put maybe Islam Makhachev. Then at number 4, that's a bit arguable, but I feel like you can argue maybe Islam is number 4. Then you can say, actually, no, my bad. Islam at number 3 maybe, actually, because he's really good. People underestimate how good Islam is, and I know maybe in some time people are going to like pinpoint his record and say Islam was not that good, but I really do think that he's like top 3. And then, like, maybe Alex can be top 4, Topuria top 5, or top 6. It really depends. But anyways, I'm getting off topic to what the main video is supposed to be about. I just think Alexandre Pantoja just needs 1 or 2 more wins, and he's better than Demetrious Johnson. His record is stacked. Fighters of today at flyweight are a lot better than they used to be. They're a lot better than Joseph Benavidez used to be, a lot better than John Dotson. It's something that, as time goes by, the divisions get better and better. Except for heavyweight. Heavyweight is one of the rare divisions where it seems to be degrading. I think heavyweight might have been better when it was in the Strikeforce days, which is like 10 years ago compared to now, which is kind of ironic, but whatever. That's how you know heavyweight is shit. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. I just wanted to keep it short. I wanted to give my opinion on why I think Pantoja is actually coming up closer to Demetrious Johnson than most people think. It's a topic that everyone's saying. Everyone keeps saying Pantoja is underrated, and I actually don't think he's as underrated as people say he is. But I don't also think that Demetrious Johnson is like just so far above Pantoja that you can't even bring their names up together, because a lot of people, especially casuals, they think that because he has so many title defenses, you cannot bring them up together. They cannot compare them, which I just think is stupid when you compare the quality of wins. For example, would you rather have a champion that has 10 wins, but they're all like can crushers? Or would you rather have a champion that has like 4 wins, but they're all like, divisional GOATs of their division, or pretty much generational talent of their division? Because everyone knows, I think if you can put something like 4 Volkanovskis compared to like 10 John Dodsons, those 4 Volkanovskis are better wins. Just as an example. Anyways, that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.